Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and we are doing part 3 of What If Asta was the son of King and Diane. When we last left off, Asta helped with making Noelle feel more comfortable being the Black Bulls along with all the other squad members, helping her feel a bit more comfortable there. And we get to the next day, and Asta finished up his chores orderly and is doing a little bit of training, getting a better hang of his sword, fighting, using it as well as fighting with his spirit spear. When Helbram called out to him from inside the helmet, Asta puts it on, asking what's he needing. Helbram congratulates Asta on doing so well with the fairy training, but mentions that he should also be practicing more on the giant's side of his half-breed blood. Also remarks, well, it's not like we have a giant to help train me. I mean, you're a fairy. Do you know anything about giants? Elrond remarked that he did know some things about how the giant magic works. He tells them about the golems. When and explains that when a giant makes a golem, the golem that's made, when based off of a person that the caster knows, their strength will be dependent upon how the caster that makes the golems sees that individual that the golem is modeled out, their strength wise. The more powerful that you see that person inside your head, or the more powerful you perceive that person, the more powerful the golem modeled after them will be. Asta kind of gets it, thinking that if he sees somebody as strong, then their golem will be strong. Elbrum just tells him that is the basics of it, so he does a little practicing until he has to go feed Yami's magic beasts, which Noelle does still tag along, and then we have Magna and Yami coming in bareback, naked, all just no clothes except their Magic Knight's robe and their grimoires, and explaining that they're going to Saucy Village to take care of some boars. Magna still introduces his crazy cyclone, for which Noelle is just not pleased about riding that. So Asta snaps his finger and turns the spear into the pillow form, making it large and telling Noelle, well, you don't want to ride that, then hop on. Noelle said, are you sure? Asta begins to float, saying, yeah, I can handle myself on my own. So this time we have Asta just flying on his own with Magna on his crazy cyclone, and we have Noelle on Gumnir in its pillow guardian form. Once they get to the area, they start hunting the boars. Pretty simple using the spirit spear, but it also gave Asta some time to practice his golem making a golem out that resembled Luck, Magna, and Yami, which surprised Magna and Noelle. Once they asked about that, Asta just said it's just my magic, something I can do. I've been practicing with it a lot and getting better. Asta's nowhere near the same level as not at the same level as Diane or King, considering he's not as old as them or experienced as them. Compared to how long they had their sacred treasures, like the chassis fold, his dad's spirit spear, and Gideon, his mom's giant warhammer, Asta's barely even had its sacred treasure compared to how long they've been using theirs. So he's still learning some things and figuring some stuff out. Makes the learning curve for Earth magic a little bit steeper and harder, considering there's aren't any giants to give him a hand in learning it. So he just kind of has to go with the fly. Once the boars are dealt with, they start going over to the village with Asta carrying it and them being surprised that he's carrying so much. Once they get near, they see that the entire village is encased in fog. Instantly, Asta summons the Demon Slayer sword from inside of the Spirit Spear and starts hacking and slashing until they get to the point where they see the villagers about to be killed. Magnus still does his thing about and blows away the icicles. This time around, Asta uses his sword to knock away the ice swords like in canon, though with the addition of using his Spirit Spear Gumnir in its Death Thorn mode. Though, unlike in the anime where Gloxemia used the Death Thorn, it isn't in its true form or fully realized form, so it doesn't have nowhere near as much of the same reach as Gloxemia's Death Thorn does. Though it does uh, knock away the swords quite nicely, though it's still starting to overwhelm them as they keep pouring more and more and more intensely as much as they can to try to kill them, since that the watch guy is starting to get aggravated about how much time the Black Bulls are wasting on them. In that instant, a small, the image of the five-leaf clover showed up on a part of the death briars. I'm hoping I'm saying the name correctly. And when Austin noticed this, then the thorn vines that make up the death thorns, they started turning a similar dark color as the anti-magic sword. And now when they lashed at the spikes of ice swords, it completely shattered them like it was nothing. It became easier to swat them away, and Asta just grinned, thinking, huh, looks like this ability to destroy magic has has become one with the Spirit Spear. I guess we can call this Dark Spirit, Dark, sorry, Dark Gumnir, Death Thorn. So yes, it's more or less a Dark Spirit Spear form. While the swords were being hit away rapidly, Noelle still ended up getting her Sea Dragon's lair, giving Asta a chance to go forward, changing the Death Thorn into Dark Spirit Spear Gumnir in first form, into its spear form, but in the same coloration as the anti-magic weapons. When the Ice Maid tried to use uh, the spike to impale Asta while he was flying right towards him, it would, instead of impaling Asta, it was dark 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 spirit spear Gumnir Guardian, and completely nullified the ice and smacked the mage, though it turned out to be a clone. Asta was able to defend himself from his attack when he noticed him firing at him when after destroying the clone. He was beginning to get surrounded by the mages and said, "Enough! Dark Spirit Spear, Gumnir, Death Thorn, creating the thorns not to kill them, but to coil around them quickly and then slam them on the ground. Unfortunately, one of them started using a spell before it grabbed them, allowing him to escape. Once they were dazed, Asta yelled at Magna to hurry up and do something to get something to restrain them. Magna hurried over and used his flame magic to bind them. Once that was done, Asta returned his spear into its normal first form, with Magna saying, "What the hell was that dark stuff that was going on with your transforming spear?" Asta just said, "I guess I kind of unlocked a new ability, huh?" Once they prop them up and start and ask some questions after dealing with the injuries, including the loss of the chief of Shashi village, they were asking them why did they come here. They wanted to know that more than anything before bringing them to the capital. Unfortunately, their leader ended up doing a suicide pact with the magic item inside his body, killing him and his lackeys. They were surprised by that. Afterwards, Nero still pecks Asta on the head with the magic stone, pissing off Asta to grab it. And it was offered to them as a reward for what they did. After that, when they get back to the Black Bull hideout, they are told that they did a good job and that the Wizard King gave them a star, as well as receiving their pay, which then they went to the black market. Once they got there, Asta was surprised that something that looked shady like this was in the capital. Though, considering how he's seen some nobles act pretty smug, perhaps it isn't that too far-fetched. The same happens as in canon with Seke getting jealous that Asta's with two beautiful women that are in the same squad as him. And we keep where the old lady's money bag of winnings that she just kind of mopped everybody else up in the gambling, and the cloud thief took it. Asta flew straight towards him using Dark Spirit Spear Gumnir to quickly stab through his cloud. Then using the flat of the spear to slam him in his gut, flying him toward Asta, where Asta summoned the Demon Slayer sword, then finished them off by slamming him into the ground with the flat of the Demon Slayer sword. Once that was taken care of, he was tied up, and Seke ended up bringing him to go get processed, I guess would be the right word for it. Then we see the old lady turning into the Wizard King after getting the money back, where he remarks that the ability to nullify magic, very interesting, and that spear, it's even more, and it could be something even more than what I thought it was. He was just excited to see something so interesting until his assistant came and started bugging him again about doing his work again. Sorry if you hear something in the background, that was a plane. Now we continue to where the dungeon arc shows up, and the Black Bulls, as long as the Golden Dawn, are asked to go deal with it. and are warned that the Diamond Kingdom may be getting involved. Once they get over there, they begin to walk into the dungeon, and Luck still opens up the door. Once they see and realize how much magic this place have, they're pretty astounded, with Helbram saying, "This is pretty interesting." Though, since he's just a soul in the helmet that Asta's wearing, he isn't able to speak up loud enough for anybody but Asta to hear him. And Luck still activates the traps that Asta uses his Demon Slayer sword to cut through to destroy, complaining to Luck to stop it until Luck goes off to fight enemies that he's sensing. As for Asta and Noelle, Asta asked Noelle to step back, which she complied with, as he used his earth magic to create golems to spread out to trigger the traps ahead of time, which they did, and Asta using his spear in its dark form, as well as the Slayer sword to nullify them. Noelle was getting ensnared in the plant trap this time around, which is when the Golden Dawn shows up, and Asta remarks saying hello to Yuno, still calling Klaus Four Eyes and stuff like that, which he takes great offense to, like usual, as they still argue like in canon, betting to see who gets into the vault first. Obviously, they go flying off, and this time Asta uses his spear to turn into the big pillow for him and the well to ride. So as they were going through the dungeon and seeing the crazy stuff that was going on, like the weirdly shifted gravity and such, Nero began to peck at Asta, pointing a way to go. He decided to go along with it and went there, where he then began to sense Luck fighting someone and his magic dwindling. He hurried up and used his Demon Slayer sword to cut through the magic. Once he did, Luck was free, and Asta still gave him that same speech, though they were still ending up getting surrounded by the smoke where they couldn't detect where the mage was. But this time around, Asta thought maybe a combo move of his own of a dual magic would work. He uses his spirit spear in its increased form, creating plenty of blades facing in all directions, combined with using his earth magic to create rocks and sends them all flying in every direction. The smoke mage ends up getting cut up by some of the blades from the spirit spear's increased form, as well as getting uh, bashed pretty good by a good number of the rocks that Asta launched as well. Once they heard him, Asta quickly flew right towards him, getting face to face, then slamming him, breaking his arm with the Demon Slayer sword, which he then hurried up and used his smoke magic to get out of there as soon as possible, not wanting to fight Asta anymore with those crazy abilities. Then we have Luck and Noelle saying, "How how did your sword split up into so many blades like that?" Asta explains that that was its increased form. And they remark, "How many forms does that thing have?" Asta just says he's unlocked a few of them, though though I haven't unlocked all of them. So they kind of get it, though not really. With a spell book like their grimoires, there's a limited number of pages, but he has a spear. There's no pages for them to fill in. So they just decide to go with it and hurry up to get to the vault, which, like in canon, Asta flies in and cuts through Marge's attack after he harmed Mimosa and was about to take out Yuno, which Asta still says, looks like I saved you, with the still saying that no, he was about to do a very damaging attack on him, still arguing like in canon and starting a fight. Though this time it goes pretty different. Asta uses his ability to fly to go right for Mars, smacking him around. Once Mars makes his mineral clones, Asta returns in kind as making some earth golems to help even out the numbers that end up destroying his mineral clones, along with Luck giving them a hand, complaining that he wanted to take the strong guy, but now he can't even take on all of these clones by himself. That sucks. But that's just typical Luck. After that, we began to do the more aerial parts, though this time when Mars went to do another attack, he's met with the flat of the Spirit Spear Gumnir, hitting him into the back, sending him flying toward Asta, giving Asta a chance to hit him with the Demon Slayer sword, launching him into the water. With all the magic flowing through this place, including the water, it was harder for Asta to get a sense of where exactly he was in there, until it was too late and Mars jumped up, just kind of sprung up out of the water in his giant mineral golem armor and went to crush Asta. Asta split the attack in half like in canon, though the crystals still came out of both sides. They yelled out for him, thinking that he was dead, until the crystals that were on both sides of Asta just shattered, revealing that Asta's skin looked as though it was made of metal, with Asta saying, "Heavy metal!" Heavy metal is a giant magic technique that allows them to turn their skin into metal for defensive purposes. Marge was taken aback by this, but was quickly dealt with Asta using the Demon Slayer sword and the Dark Spirit Spear Gumnir first form to strike Mars from both the front and the back, knocking him unconscious. After that, Klaus used his magic to put a metal straitjacket on him, and like in canon, Asta still cut through the magic door of the dungeon's vault for them to get in. Once they walk in, they start exploring. Then the spear began to kind of make a humming sound, very light but noticeable to Asta. So he grabbed hold of his spear and started to point in different directions to see what would happen. He pointed in a particular direction where the vibration of the spear began to grow. He kept going until he saw a gold circle on the wall. Once he touched it, the wall opened up, revealing a second anti-magic sword that lifted into the air and went into the spear. Which is when Marge burst in, striking the well. and then attacking and then encasing the others in crystal. He Asta hurried up, trying to flew over to get in between Mars, Noel, and Mimosa, so that Mars wouldn't harm them. Seeing that Noel was badly injured, he decided to use his spirit spear to use Pollen Garden to help heal her, while taking out both of the anti-magic swords instantly, beginning the attack. To defend, over and over and over, he begins to deflect the rapidly flying blade, also using heavy metal to make sure he didn't get stabbed. The well still acknowledged him, while being healed a lot faster pace inside the pollen garden, which caused her magic to go into the demon dweller sword to fire off a water anti-magic shot, extinguishing the Phoenix healing robe that Mars was using to recover from his injuries. Similar in canon, Mars tried to do another attack, which Yuno's new spirit magic ended up negating and completely destroying, though the whole place was coming down. Also returned Gumnir to its first form and tried to think. He thought, and while they were saying that they had to get out of there, and also yelled out to everyone to get close to him. He has an idea. He stabbed the spirit spear into the ground, with Klaus saying, "What are you doing?" As soon as after he said that, the ground began to crack open, revealing the Gumnir spirit spear sunflower. As it opened up, it began to point directly upwards and blasted a hole clear through. Then Asta began to use his earth magic as the spear returned back to normal and ripped chunks of the ground they were standing on up to create a floating platform of earth. He even made one underneath Mars and underneath a good bit of the treasure in there. Before he left, he saw that the dummy majors were there and said, "Really? Place is falling down and you're busy grabbing treasure?" As he uses his magic to make another platform underneath them and started to fly away through the hole that he made using sunflower. Though the rubble from the collapsing dungeon began to fall through the hole he made and was going at them. He was already struggling to carry all of this as much as he could to try to get them all out. He reached out one of his hands upwards, focused as much as he could, causing the rubble that was coming down that Luck, Klaus, and Yuna were about to use their magic to destroy, until they began to float in the air out of nowhere, and Asta yelled, pushing his hand upwards, controlling the rocks of the collapsing dungeon to fly all the way up, right out of the hole on the top, which then they soared out of. As they were about to land, Klaus berated Asta, asking, "Why did you say the diamond mages?" Asta replied with, I saw people who were gonna get buried alive, and I just acted. Alright? It's not a big deal." He uses the platform that he used to carry Mars out and tilts it to drop Mars onto their little pile inside the smoke car, which they then use to get away back to the Diamond Kingdom. Klaus still is angry, saying that they got away with treasure, But Asta said, well, we got away with a lot more treasure, as he points towards the platforms of all the gold and such that he's levitating using his earth magic. And while also stating that they also got new magic that they didn't get, showing off his second anti-magic sword and pointing at Yuno, explaining that new spell that can cause the collapse of the dungeon to begin with, which Klaus does calm down a bit and acknowledges both Asta and Yuno despite being a commoner, which in Asta's head he's thinking, well, to be honest, I am technically the Fairy King. I just don't know where the hell the Fairy King's forest is, so I'm kind of stuck here. After that, they were able to get the treasure back to the capital and head back home to the Black Bull's hideout, where Asta relaxed, laying out on his bed, putting on the helmet that Dr. Helbram, saying, I really pushed my earth magic a good bit, huh? I didn't know I could control Earth like that in such a crisis, though I guess it's something I did out of necessity rather than just wanting to, huh? Elbrum said, yeah, pretty much, though I wouldn't expect anything less from Diane's son. She is by far the strongest earth magic user in the world. You remarks, really? I hope I can live up to that title. Which Elbrum says, oh yeah, that is great. I was so busy training you and using your fairy side, letting you know about your duties as the Fairy King and such, even though that we don't know where our home is. I forgot to mention this. Completely slipped my mind. Asta asked, what are you talking about? Elbrum said, it's about your mother. Your mother is actually the queen of the giants. Asta said, huh. Until his eyes opened as wide as hell, and you hear the stereotypical soundtrack of a glass shattering, and also yelling, "What?" And this is where we'll be ending it for this part of the what if. And hope to see you later. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. As for the 1000K, as for the 1000K special, it will be a 4 parts, so 4 separate videos for the 1000K special. However, the things that I'm having made, the thumbnails that are being made for the special, are still not finished. So I'm sorry, but you'll just have to wait, and I'll be making more parts of what ifs to help fill in the time until the official 100K, I mean, no, 1000 special is all ready and set to go and be recorded. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and make sure to ring the bell for future notifications. Have a good day.